Welcome back to my garden. Well, if you're a keen follower of this YouTube channel and you've got a pretty good memory, you might recall the name Zharnel Hughes. He is, of course, the British sprinter who recently had a feature written about him because of the quite extraordinary coincidence that not once but twice he'd written a record-breaking time down in his training diary on the morning of the race. Now, in that video when I discussed this, I suggested that perhaps this was due to the time being a natural sort of obvious guess, rather than something mystical, extraordinary at foot in the fabric of the universe. Not that his times weren't extraordinary. Breaking 30-year-old records is an astonishing accomplishment. But if I needed a little more evidence that there's no witchcraft going on with our friend Zharnel, the current World Athletics Championships taking place in Budapest, Hungary, provide some solid evidence to back me up. In the 100 meters run earlier this week, he performed fantastically well, and managed to pick up the bronze medal by the narrowest of margins. That's all I can say. 1/1000th of a second. By all accounts, you can't separate runners more in a photo finish than this. But he just sneaked into the bronze medal position, 0.5 of a second behind the winner, Noah Lyles, American runner who is in astonishing form this season, and he wasn't favoured to win the 100 meters particularly. He's his real sprint of choice is a 200, but he's just running so well that it didn't really come as a surprise. And I imagine Mr. Hughes would have written down in his diary that he was going to win the gold medal, and he would have written down a suitable time that would do that. Perhaps another British record. And I'm not knocking writing times in training diaries or setting out your vision in a life affirmative, expansive, ambitious vision board. No. But this is not, as I say, some invoking of supernatural powers. It is not a universal secret that if you just believe enough, it will happen. Because it didn't. I think it's actually evidence of another of those wonderful psychological biases that are so often discussed, very much in vogue in popular psychology, science, journalism these days. Survivor bias. We hear the stories of the winners, and not the rest of the field, so to speak. Well, we did hear the story of Zharnel Hughes this week because, no, he didn't win the race, but he won a medal. And I certainly don't ascribe to that depressing philosophy that second is first loser. You know, you win a bronze medal at the World Championships. That's a fantastic accomplishment. Zharnel wanted the gold. He settled for the bronze. He did his very, very best. He gave it all he had to give. And that's life. Someone wins and the other people don't. And I follow the sort of arguments that that certain conservative leaning, and dare I say it, folks suggest that much is to be of the blame of modern ill is to be laid at the feet of namby-pamby sort of liberal teachers who favour participation and effort and trying rather than just the pursuit of glory and victory. And no, I don't think that's makes any sense at all. I think they're not mutually exclusive things. You do your very best and you might win, and you're trying to win. But if everyone's doing that, only one person will go away happy. And in the end, Zharnel was happy because he picked up a medal. Survivor bias in this case, because we write a story about these sorts of astonishing coincidences when they actually happen. On this occasion, perhaps Zharnel wrote, modestly, I will win the race in 9.85. Not quite a British record, but a gold medal all the same. And in the end, he came third in 9.88. He probably wasn't far off the time he wrote down, but that's not the point of affirmations and vision boards to my way of thinking. The point is to align yourself with positive action and to confidently tackle challenges, to go out there and believe in yourself, to really believe in yourself at a core sort of inner being level, rather than just a half-hearted rationalization that you tell yourself because you think it's what you or other people want to hear. Now, perhaps you're listening to saying, Neil, you're dodging the elephant in the room. Whatever happened to your vision board? And I've made some progress. It remains progress of a sort of planning, you might say procrastinating nature. I haven't glued anything. I don't have an enormous board in a visible spot in the kitchen yet, but I do know what's going to, the sort of thrust of the content, what is going to go there. And thinking about Zharnel and other athletes, that you may be successful or from a statistical perspective in most of what we do, on some level we are going to fail to meet those ambitious goals more often than we succeed, if you add it all up. But what is important is, I guess, two things. The one, from a sort of mastery and accomplishment perspective, is that, in a sense, we're moving forward. And I think that's maybe where the vision board is so important, or some sort of stated vision of your future, ambition, or goals, if one's being a little dull. But knowing in what direction you're moving at least gives you an idea of whether you are in fact moving. And also, it allows you to confidently state that your efforts have not been in vain. Maybe someone else's efforts were greater or more likely to succeed, but you have done your best and moved forward. You've been rewarded for what you've done. I think that's, it's a tricky philosophy to say that, because once again, well, what happens if you haven't moved forward? Well, I come back to an argument that I've put forward on this channel before. Okay, Maybe you've failed. Maybe you've taken a step backwards. Well, then you've learnt what doesn't work. You've gained information. And you start again. You dust yourself off. Bloodied in the middle of the arena, lying on the sand, dust yourself off, whatever. It's a poem or something. Let me know in the comments below. It's often mentioned, but dust yourself off and get ready for the next fight. And if you're not looking at things from that sort of progress perspective, there is the point of the infinite game, playing for as long as you can possibly must, and it is the participation, the playing of the game, the involvement, the process that really counts. Again, I can hear some sort of gnashing of old school teeth. No, it's not just the participation. It's that first loser crowd again, angrily banging at my door. Telling people it's all about the participation just gives them an easy out, an excuse. But it's not what you're doing. You are saying, strive for this goal, be constructive and deliberate about the process. And at the end, if you failed, look at what you did, learn the valuable lessons, and then get back in the arena. We'll see how Zharnel does in the 200 meters. Perhaps there's yet another twist in this tale. Perhaps not. I think a lot of this sort of speculation suggests also another sort of strong philosophy, which is, in the mastery game, perhaps what one is aiming to do is move forward more often than not. And if you're doing that, if you're steadily finding moments of forward momentum, consolidating on the dreaded plateau, and you keep on doing that, you're getting somewhere. Where is that somewhere? Well, that is for history to tell us. In the end, perhaps Zharnel isn't the greatest sprinter of his generation. No, he isn't. Noah Lyles has a good shot at that, but Zharnel, I suspect, well, it won't be him. But damn it, he's got a medal, he's got some records, and that's pretty incredible. And for the other guys in the races, at that level, or at whatever level, that can be pretty incredible too. I'm having those feelings with my journey playing chess. And I'm never going to be a truly great player, but I feel progress being made, and I'm enjoying the process, and, well, what more could I want? And I feel the same with my sculpture, and, well, sculpture is not a competitive activity, but there are competitive yardsticks, and I suspect the odds are that, in 50 years' time, I'm probably not going to be viewed as in the same light as Alexander called him. Probably not. And I say that not out of some kind of false or realistic modesty, but simply because that's the odds. The odds are that, I will be another artist. But boy, isn't it wonderful? I am being another artist. I am in that glorious group of people who lead a creative life. And to those overly serious, competitively committed, driven individuals, I say enjoy the race, because it's wonderful. Anyway, that's it for this week. A bit of a ramble, but it's another week, so why not? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And as always, I trust your lives are filled with joy. From sunny Brazil, ciao.